Hey guys, today I'm going to take you through 5 tips to make your competition form better. So here we go. So your first tip is to make sure that your timing is correct. And by this, what I mean is that your foot lands in the stance the same time that your technique stops. So if you're stepping forward into a front stance and doing a punch, you don't want it to look like this. You want it to land at the same time. So you need it like that. Or if you're stepping forward into like a L stance or a back stance and you're doing a knife hand strike, you don't want it to look like this. You need it to look at the same time, land at the same time. Tip number 2 is to make sure that your foot positioning and your stances are correct. Now, this is the one that I have a really difficult time with, as you can probably see if you look back on my competition videos, but I really have to work on it. So for instance, in a front stance, make sure that all 10 toes are facing forward, your feet are parallel. This is going to really put like a strain on your back calf muscle. You're really going to feel it. A lot of people, myself included, have the tendency of doing your front stance and having your foot out like this. But if the judges notice that, they're going to count off on it. Also, for your back stance, you want to make sure that your heels are lined up and more weight is on your back leg. Your front foot is facing forward, your back foot is facing out like an L, but make sure your heels are lined up. And then in your horse stance or your riding stance, you want to make sure, once again, that all 10 toes are facing forward. A lot of people have the tendency of doing this and doing like a squat, and once again, if the judges see that, they could potentially take off scores for it. So make sure that all 10 toes are facing forward. Tip number 3 also has to do with foot positioning, but it's foot positioning with your kick, so in the air. Make sure that you're showing the judges that you're hitting with the correct part of the foot for all of your kicks. So for instance, with a side kick, you don't want to just flop your foot out there like that. You want to make sure that your heel is pointed out, toes are pointing down. For a front kick, you don't just want to flop your foot out like this. You want to make sure that the ball of your foot is pointing, your toes are back, and your foot is pointed forward just like that. And other kicks, other ways also. So if you have other kicks in your form, make sure that you know the exact position that your foot should be in. I know a lot of round kicks differ, so some people do their round kick with the top of their foot. Some people do the round kick with the ball of their foot. So whichever way you prefer, whichever way you do your round kick, make sure you show that. Make sure it's not a question of whether you just flopped your foot out there. So make sure you show what part of the foot you're hitting with. Tip number 4 is to stick your kicks and punches. Now, a lot of people have been told to stick their kicks, but you also have to stick your punches. You do this to show power and control with your techniques. So in order to do this, you can't just have, say, your punch going out slow all the way and locking out at the end. It has to be fast and then really quickly lock out at the end. So what you do is you tense up all your muscles at the very last minute so that it locks out. So for instance, with a punch or here, make it go fast and then lock out at the end. You want to hear that snap in your uniform. One more time, go fast, lock out at the end. Same with your kicks. If you can't stick your kick really high, I find it more important to stick your kick than to kick high. So do it the highest that you can to where you can stick your kick. So you once again want to go fast with your kick and then stick it at the very last minute. So you're here and stick it. All right, my 5th and final tip is to make sure that your head is facing the right direction. Now, a form is supposed to be a fight, so make sure it looks that way. Now, if you're here and you're going to block something over here, you're not just going to block and look at the same time. The reason you're blocking is because you know that something's coming. So if you know something's coming, you're going to be here, your head's going to move first, and then you're going to step and block. So you want to do that throughout your whole form. Your head should be moving first. That should be a movement on its own, not at the same time. So say you're blocking here, head moves, here, step forward, punch. You need to block behind you now. Move your head, here, step forward, punch. You're blocking to the front now. Move your head, here, step forward, punch. So make sure that head movement is there. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for new videos coming out every week. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description box below. And tell me what you want to see next in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.